All right, I think we're live. Let me know if you can hear us, or should I say, hear me? Because guess who's not here? Back to back Sunday evenings. No cousin Shane to be found. I can't find him anywhere. I think he's trying to avoid that damn mayo bath that he's promised us. So, no, Shane once again working. He says he'll be here as soon as he can. That's the latest update for what it's worth. He just texted me 3 minutes ago, said he can leave in about 40 minutes, but he works about an hour away. So Shane's stuck at the Mayo factory. Yeah, so I apologize. I don't know when Shane will be here, but hopefully soon. Try to keep you guys posted. But we did this last week. Didn't want to leave anybody hanging because we tell you 6, and by God, I'm going to be here by 6. So I got nothing else to do. So how about we shoot to shit? Let's get some thoughts out there. Great games over the weekend, and this upcoming weekend, I don't want to look ahead just yet. We got games to recap, but next weekend's going to be wild. So let's see. Most surprising. What do we got here over the weekend? Been waiting all day, and Shane is like, hey, you don't know half of it, brother. So I feel you. How does Vols drop in the AP poll? Well, Childers, appreciate you tuning in. If you give a second's thought to any of these polls, you're just wasting breath because they're stupid. They're asinine. They're illogical. I don't even know why they still have them. Hey, dickhead, why do you talk shit about Bama? I think you are Bama troll. Bill Valentine. Appreciate you tuning in, Bill. I'm just telling you the truth that no one else will tell you. I mean, you get excited beating Mississippi State. Was that 16 in a row? I mean, that's outstanding. That is outstanding. Throw them a parade. Bama's back. Did beat Ole Miss, though. That win all of a sudden looks a lot better. Let's see. And, Jalen Milroe, leading passer and leading rusher. Yeah, I would never. Shane's commenting here. Cousin Shane says, Shane dodging his bet. That sounds about right. Watching my Georgia Bulldogs hurt my feelings. I'm sorry to hear that, Greg, but again, that's another one. Georgia fans jumped on me, and I said, hell, you're not number one, or at least not yet. Doesn't mean you won't be by the end of the year. You won the game. That's what matters. Bradley says, Bill is Larry's cousin / brother, and probably his father, too. So, Shane Alexander, I believe he called in. I think we got some great calls. We had like over 80 voicemails left this weekend, and we tried to narrow it down. All of them are laced with profanity. Just a warning. I basically picked the best ones that have the fewest profanities. Not that I mind profanities, but F Billy Napier, F that, F this, F that for 2 minutes. It gets a little repetitive. So we got some great voicemails to play. I'm waiting for Shane to show up for that. Mike loves, I love Bama. What are you talking about? This is my favorite team there. Agreed. Polls total horseshit. Yep. Bo's with me. I don't even think A&M's ranked right now, are they? I mean, they may be ranked after they destroyed Arkansas, but they're not where they should be. Hogs are depressed. Kyle says, hey, how about Aggie's offense going to beat Bama defense? That's right now as I looking ahead. That's the matchup of the week. Because Bama's defense is really good. But hell, A&M, what is it? I think it's every game. They played 5 games. Every game, I believe, 400 yards of total offense in all of them. Jimbo, I don't think Jimbo's ever been 2-0 in SEC play. I saw that stat as well. A&M's probably the team to beat in the West now. They get Alabama this week. That's going to be a hell of a game. What's it going to take for Mizzou to get some respect in the media, says Trevor? Well, just keep winning. Just keep winning. I mean, Brady Cook is cooking. Many wanted him benched. Now y'all want him for the Heisman. Speaking of Mizzou, I've decided to drink from a winning cup this weekend. 5-0, baby. Tastes like victory. Now all of a sudden LSU doesn't look that good. Perfect time for Mizzou. Mizzou will beat them, and then they'll say, LSU's down, LSU overhyped, LSU a joke. So Mizzou's not going to get any respect this weekend either. Jacob says, being a Gamecock fan is like living in Mayo. Shane got it easy. Oh my God. Hey, good things are ahead, Jacob. I mean, hell, they're recruiting well. This is just basically what we said all off season, though. You look at their schedule, they always start slow under Beamer for whatever reason. And then you got this damn gauntlet. We thought you could beat North Carolina, but realistically, I never thought they'd win in Georgia, at Georgia. I never thought they'd win at Tennessee. So you're basically just one game off the pace. You flip it around. If you beat Florida here coming up, that's what you need to do to get back on track. Wahoo says, love Beamer, but them coaching decisions were rough. I'm trying to think of what bad decisions. I mean, it's just Spencer running for his life. I mean, I don't know what the guy's supposed to do. The defense is awful. That's why I was so confident in Tennessee, in Neyland Stadium. I didn't think South Carolina could stop them. They did get, Milton threw two interceptions. Yeah, it's pretty bad to get 2 interceptions and still get destroyed like that. Because of Shane, Miss Terry is not happy with my tardiness. Cast Iron Ball, he's calling the hotline, Shane, because you got him fired up. WTK, man, I wish the Cats had Georgia in Lexington this year. I'm right there with you. But I know you guys know I don't like to say bold, crazy things or anything, but I think Kentucky could beat Georgia. And I don't even think that's a bold comment at this point. And I would even go so far as to say, I'm not trying to talk bad about Devin Leary. Kentucky, they're feeling great. They're 5-0 on top of the world right now. I'm not trying to bring you back down. But Devin Leary has been a massive disappointment. He was not good against Florida. But I say all that to say, if he can turn it around, if he plays like we thought he would play, I don't have a doubt in my mind. Kentucky will beat not that they can, they will beat Georgia if Devin Leary has a performance, because they got all the other pieces. And Georgia looks vulnerable. I get it. It's at home. It's going to be a rowdy environment. It's not a night game, though. CBS game. Of course, maybe bleed into the night there, but yeah, I mean, dogs, they're all saying here, dogs are vulnerable. Dogs are injured. If not for Brock Bowers, who should be getting some Heisman love, they don't win that game at Auburn, I don't think. And Auburn's not that good. I mean, they threw a couple wrinkles, and Georgia looked totally unprepared. They were not ready for the read option, which that's all Hugh does. This clown is Missouri fan. What a clown, says Bill. Bill's a sharp one. He calls it like he sees it. I think he's got a doctorate from Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. Curious, who do you have winning the Red River Shootout? Ooh, baby. Now, that's a game right there. The two best in the SEC going head-to-head. Ooh. I mean, I have to lean Texas, but not by much. I don't understand why Oklahoma's not in the top 10. I don't think anybody's watching Oklahoma that's voting in these damn polls. And again, I hate to go in on these polls again, but Oklahoma's been as dominant as anybody in the entire country. Now, they haven't played the game at Alabama, so again, Texas more proven. Texas has been great too. I'm not trying to downgrade them. But Oklahoma's defense is outstanding. Hell, they scored 40 points and it was halftime against Iowa State. They're rolling right now. That's going to be one hell of a game. I can't wait for it. What happened to Shane? Too many roast beef sandwiches? Says Mike. Nope. Stuck at work. He's still there. And he works about an hour away. So it's going to be a while. But He'll be here eventually, hopefully. And he's still got a mail bath, and he's still got a weekend update that he's promising he'll do. So he's got a busy day. Let's give Shane a little bit of a break. He may not go to bed till about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock tonight. Brady Cook is him, says Chase. Wonder if we got any comments from Chase when Brady Cook was not him. Just curious. Not a fan of A&M and Jimbo, but I like their chances now. Yeah. I mean, A&M is right there. They beat Bama next week. They are the pick to win the West. I mean, they still got to go to LSU, right? They got some tough games. They got to go to Tennessee. So there's landmines all over that thing. But I don't think anyone off the top of my head is playing as well as A&M on both sides of the ball as Texas A&M, offense and defense. I mean, we kind of, a lot of people, myself included, kind of wrote them off after that. I didn't completely write them off, but the defense looks so bad against Miami. I think so many people jumped off the bandwagon. We gotta circle back. They're killing it on the defensive side of the ball, and no drop off with Max Johnson in there. Thoughts on Ole Miss probably finishing 10-2? What? No, I don't think so. Let's pull up their schedule. Ole Miss. Can Ole Miss go 10-2 here? They already lost one. Arkansas at home, at Auburn, Vanderbilt at home, A&M at home, at Georgia, at Mississippi State. Some tricky road games. I don't think they can go 10-2. I really don't. I don't know what the hell. I still don't know how they won that game yesterday. I've watched it twice now. It's they were down 9 with 5 minutes to go, and they still won it. So, hey, hell of a win. LSU shit the bed, though, that's for sure. I'm thinking Kentucky has the best overall defense. Maybe. I just think Florida's just so one-dimensional. They're not good, I don't think. I really don't think they're good. I don't know. Tennessee just played like shit that day. Ray Davis, now that's another guy that needs to get some more Heisman love. He was incredible. I'll just go out and say SEC Offensive Player of the Week. He's my Player of the Week. He's going to be the SEC Player of the Week here in a minute when they announce that on Monday. Gators went to the grocery store and got stuffed. Give those cats their respect. I got them top 5 in the SEC power rankings. They should be top 15 in the country, maybe even better. You have a terrible power rankings, says Timothy. Georgia is an injured team and still winning, and you talking bad about them. Shaking my head. Maybe we're watching a different Georgia. I mean, hell, Auburn's not that good. They played well on Saturday, and give Georgia credit for making the plays when it mattered. But no, Texas. I've said it since they beat Bama. They've proven more than Georgia. I think they'd beat Georgia on a neutral field right now. What else we got here? Mertz's 2 big plays are the only reason they scored. Gator fans need to lay off him, says this UK fan. Yeah, Graham Mertz is not the problem. The problem is Billy Napier running the offense. And if they can't run the ball, they got nothing. And their special teams is awful. And they got jumped on by Kentucky. And once you get a 10-point lead on Florida, they're done because they can't come back from it. And they jumped out to, I think, a 24-0 lead. And that was, Kentucky could have went the water boy offense and just took a knee. They would have won that game. Mike, the CIA or FBI raid. I don't know. Can no one hear me now? Seems like people can hear me. Check. All right, what we got here? This clamp, man, Bill is fired up tonight. Reminds me of Cal off Talladega. I appreciate that. I mean, Cal from Talladega Nights, that's one of the most iconic characters in cinema history. What else we got here? Man, I want to look at the schedule for next week because again, we'll recap it all with Shane here in a minute. If and when he shows up, if and when that Mayo don't get him. Who we got? LSU at Missouri. Curious to hear what you guys think about that one. Alabama, A&M. And right now, Alabama's number 1 in the West. A&M's number 2. Kentucky, no, technically first, however you want to say it. Kentucky, Georgia, that's a battle for first in the East. And even Arkansas, Ole Miss. I know Arkansas fans are down, but they kind of own Ole Miss. And that's always one hell of a game. We got some great games here. Bo says, first time in a long time, I like A&M's chances versus Bama. I do too. I mean, basically, all you have to do, Jalen Milroy, he does throw a nice deep ball, so you can't get beat over the top. I shouldn't say the only thing, but the main thing, keep him in the pocket. I didn't think Mississippi State would have any athletes that can run with him, and I think that was proven to be the case. Keep him in the pocket. Don't let him escape. They have no answers on offense. They have no playmakers. I don't know. Alabama only had they didn't have a single receiver, wide receiver. They had, I think, a tight end caught a couple balls and a running back may have caught 2. But I guess Mississippi State, they didn't have a single receiver have 2 catches. I mean, they're just so limited, and they weren't running all over them either. So it's going to be difficult to score on Alabama. But if you get to 20, 23 at most, you'll beat Alabama. And I like their chances with all the weapons A&M's got. Coop, appreciate you. He just threw us $2. What do you think about LSU still being ranked? I'm fine with it. I get it. We overreact. We suck. We just lost. End of the world. LSU, I don't think is eliminated from anything. They're behind Bama right now, right? They're behind A&M in the standings. They get to play both of them. You can still beat both of those teams because I'm not a huge believer in Bama, obviously. Now, A&M, that's going to be one hell of a game, but you get it at home. You have to win out, but again, you were up, what was it? 9 points with 5 minutes left. Now, you choked the game away, so we're not, I mean, the defense just got awful. I don't know how Matt House still has a job at the end of the season. I mean, he's got to be gone, right? I mean, they're just so awful on defense, LSU is. Who we got here? Oh, appreciate you, Go Hogs, for $5. Love the show, just showing some support. Thank you, sir. Oh, we got one more. I missed this one. Dealing with Dylan. Gave us $2. Appreciate you. UK underrated linebackers versus Brock Bowers. That's going to be a hell of a matchup right there. I still can't, I mean, you had to know there's one guy that could beat you if you're Auburn, and it was Brock Bowers, and he's just so damn good he did it. So, man, I think that says more about Brock Bowers than it does anything else. I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Auburn defensive coordinator, Ron Roberts, I mean, I think he was so fed up with the people talking shit, he had to take to Twitter. He defended. He said, we bracketed him all day, whatever, but whatever the hell you were doing didn't work, buddy. He deleted that tweet, by the way. So maybe he was lying. I don't know. Maybe they need to take away Hughes' assistant's Twitter as well, not just Hughes. Auburn won't lose this weekend. Oh, that's true. Neither will Tennessee. Team's on a bye week, in case y'all are that went over your head. Trev, appreciate you. Joining late. Mike, do you think Tennessee can still finish the rest of the season undefeated? No, I definitely don't think that. I think Tennessee's not bad. A lot of their fans are jumping on me because I got them 10th in the power rankings, but it seems like anytime Joe Milton throws the ball, I don't know. It's just, maybe it's, I mean, I was sitting here with Shane. He was saying the same thing. It looks belabored. It looks, I don't know. It just doesn't look smooth. Yeah, even like a slant pass, we're amazed that he made the play. And I don't know. Something's not clicking there. And they rushed for 200 and something yards. You would think that would open things up. Maybe they don't have the receivers. I don't know. But no, to say I'm confident that Tennessee can beat Georgia, beat Alabama, beat A&M. No, I would not go. I'm not saying they can't. They run like they did last night. They can play with anybody because they finally got a defense now. Why is Matt House so bad? I don't know. I mean, it's players matter more than coaches, but LSU's got enough players that they should not be this piss poor on defense. It's incredible. Philip, has anyone checked on Ty to see if he's alive? I've not heard from him since Saturday, so we might have to double check. Appreciate that consideration, Philip. Man. Shane tweeted, not covering Brock is a bold strategy. A laugh for Twitter. Yep. I mean, you got to cover that man, right? He's about all they had. What's your opinion of Mark Stoops and what he's done with the Kentucky program? Well, he's done a hell of a job. But the records say he's a C+ coach. And until he is not a C+ coach, I'm just going what the grade says. It's not even my grade. I didn't invent this, but Philip. Oh, appreciate you, Philip. Philip threw us $5. But I mean, again, when people hear that, they think I'm talking trash. They think, oh, you just hate Mark Stoops. No. Hell, he's made Kentucky relevant. And not only relevant, but they're arguably the toughest team in the league. Now, they don't always have the athletes, and that's where they get caught when they play in Alabama or Georgia and often Tennessee. But hell, drop him in. 10 other programs I think around the SEC would take Mark Stoops and what he's built. It's very impressive. What else we got here? I don't think there's a top 6 team in the SEC. I wouldn't go that far. Have you seen Missouri undefeated, Kentucky undefeated? Top 6. We throw Georgia in there too. I'm just saying Georgia's not number 1. I'll give them top probably 3 or 4. You guys hype Kentucky every year. It's well, Kentucky just beat the shit out of Florida and they're undefeated. Uh-oh. I mean, shouldn't you be thanking us this year? I mean, it looks like we kind of nailed that one. Vandy is really missing Ray Davis. So, yeah, of course, especially after that game. Yeah, Ray Davis. I mean, what Ray Davis was doing at Vanderbilt was not being paid attention because he was at Vanderbilt. But going to Kentucky, I thought that would be a hell of a move. It looks like it has been so far, obviously. What's the outlook for A&M Bama and a loss of repercussions this week? Well, they're both undefeated in SEC, so a one loss won't kill you. But you're in the driver's seat, whoever wins that game, because LSU is faltered and Ole Miss is right there. But yeah, I mean, I if Alabama wins it, I'll probably have to start giving them respect because they won on the road at A&M, who I think is the team to beat in the West right now. If A&M wins it, obviously still the team to beat. But they got a long way to go. Some tough games coming up. Scott wants to know who's willing to take the job at Arkansas that is worth firing Pittman over. It's a good question. Already hearing the Dion talk. They ain't get Dion. That's too late for that. But that's where they were at. They had Dion. This is before Jackson State, before he literally coached a game at a major level. We're saying Pittman. Pittman's, I mean, this year obviously he's struggling big time, but he's been solid. Sasquatch, he says Milton will struggle against Kentucky, Mizzou, Georgia, and Alabama. I'm trying to think. Road game, home game, yeah. I wouldn't disagree with any of that. Well, that doesn't mean Tennessee can't win. And hell, it might be Nico time by then. Just kidding. Not really. When Kentucky can beat Tennessee, they will get some respect, says Eric Jones. He's got you there. I mean, Tennessee owns Kentucky. Isn't it wild in this league how some teams just own? Florida owns Tennessee. Tennessee owns Kentucky. Bama owns Ole Miss. Hell, Bama's owned everybody, so that's not saying much. But it just goes back. I mean, there was a time there, Arkansas, they own Ole Miss. Ole Miss owned Mississippi State, and it's just wild. Arkansas can't hire a blue chip coach right now, says Bob. I would agree with that. It's a tough job. Heath says making Kentucky relevant, like really relevant, that's worth more than a C+. UK was Vandy when Stoops arrived. I mean, I would agree with that sentiment, but that's just a belief, and it's just the problem with that is there's no grade for that. You know, like what kind of grade does Dan Mullen get for for at Mississippi State? He won bigger at Florida, but then it went off the rails. What kind of grade does Jimbo get for inheriting a mess from Kevin? I mean, we can kind of this and that and this and that. That's why I like that metric. Talent, location, talent of Team A versus Team B and where the game's played. And the end result gives you a coaching grade. It's very simple. So we don't have to go down, well, they were Vanderbilt, they were this, they were that. Who the hell would leave another program for Arkansas right now, says Bob. I mean, that's a question. That's a good question. I think here's the tough thing, I think, for Arkansas. You'd have to hire one of two. You'd have to get a young coordinator type who's never had coaching experience, and the previous guy was similar to that, and we all know how that went. Or you have to hire someone that's been fired, and you're hoping can rekindle something like Dan Mullen, like Gus Malzahn, Mel Tucker. Just kidding, he's not getting a job. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I like those odds. According to your mustache, the Dogs will lose 3. I don't know if I ever said that. I don't know if I've ever said that, but I like that comment. That was a good one. Who would you bet on, Saban or Jimbo? Definitely Saban. Definitely. But players matter more than coaching. When do us Hog fans really need to officially panic? Let's pull up their schedule real quick, Arkansas. Those 3 losses in a row look pretty damn ugly, but hell, I mean, we were all anticipating 4 in a row, more or less, right? LSU, A&M, at Ole Miss, at Alabama. Who in the hell gave them this schedule? Here's when you panic if you're Arkansas. If you get your ass kicked by Mississippi State at home, we've seen what Florida is. Not saying you have to win that game, but I think it's winnable. Auburn is winnable at home. FIU is winnable. And Missouri, I mean, well, currently that does not look winnable because they kind of own you. But if, let's say, this stretch right here, Mississippi State, Florida, Auburn, FIU, if they can't win 3 of them, I'd panic. I think they can. Did South Carolina, Tennessee feel disjointed from medical timeout? Probably. I mean, hell, that was just brutal. Thoughts out there to Brew McCoy? Anybody that saw it? Kind of wish no one saw it because it was one of those nasty ones. But I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at Danny says he just said Nico to troll me now, which is true. But back to Nico. Yeah, I mean, how it's tough when you see your brother go down like that, and then you're just supposed to get back up. It's brutal. That could certainly be a case. But it's been disjointed all year for Tennessee, so that's why I think that's kind of who they are. Keep doubting Georgia. Okay, Terrence. Why is it that all these Georgia people think like everyone's out to get them? It's a little weird. I mean, Georgia's the pick in the East. Weren't they the pick to win the SEC? I picked them to win the national championship 2 years ago. before anyone did. But keep doubting them. Okay. Ronnie from Tokyo. Appreciate you. Love to get a koozie. I'd love for you to move to America because I can't ship to Tokyo. If Larry lived up to the hype, UK is easily a top 10 team. I agree. Hell, I just said though they'd win at number 1 if he has a great game. They will beat Georgia. But we've seen 5 games now, and he's not great. So I don't know. UK will skull drag Tennessee. Last year was a fluke, says Straight Facts. What about the last 20 or so? Were those flukes? I don't think so. Old Sports says, I'm not worried about Kentucky. Their quarterback looks terrible, and Tennessee will not allow that running back to run on them. God. Oh, we're already looking ahead. What is that, a month away? We're talking trash. I love it. A&M owns Arkansas for sure. Yep, that's another one of them. It's just weird how these things play out. Arkansas is looking ahead to Oklahoma and Texas. That was a good one, Bob. I appreciate that. Okay, what else we got here? Show get a F- grade for knowing anything about football. Zukatutsu, if that's your name. I don't think it is. But you get an A+ for that comment. I thought Carson Beck looked great Saturday in a tough environment. Freshman kicker stepped up too, says Ash. That's a good point. I mean, again, that's what we wanted to see. Carson Beck, how would he respond? He answered the challenge. They needed points late. If anybody didn't watch that game was tied, Auburn, Georgia, with 3 minutes remaining. Auburn was up 10-0 after the first quarter. They were up, I think, 17-10 early in the third. I mean, they were up the whole game. And Ashley's 100% right. The moment was not too big for Carson Beck, and I think that's a great sign for Georgia moving forward. Dylan with Dylan. Since his first 3 years, Stoops is 59-35, 30-30 in the SEC, 7 straight bowls. Kentucky needs to take the next step. What does that next step look like to you? Yeah, that's interesting. See, we get in this weird place where you said it right there, 7 straight bowls. And keep in mind, I don't think they had won a bowl game in like 10 years before he got there. And then he won 4 in a row, I think. I think that's what it was. And then they started going to like Florida Bowls, and they've won about half of those, but we got to be careful not to run people off for being too successful but not being elite. Because again, it's the players that matter more than the coaches. The team with the better talent wins in college football around 80% of the time. That's a fact. So Kentucky, where's their talent compared to everybody else? I mean, they don't have Georgia talent. They don't have Bama talent. They don't even have Tennessee talent. So is it fair to sit here and say, you better win a damn East, Stoops, or your ass is grass? I don't think so. But what is that next step? I mean, I guess this is the last year of winning the East. Wouldn't it be wild if Kentucky won it? If he won the East this year, he's a legend. He needs a damn statue outside the stadium. Liquid Flames. Oh man, I just missed it. I think I missed his comment, but he said Arkansas can have Billy Napier. I mean, they could. That's what I'm saying. They'd have to get a fired guy. Is basically where we're at. Is that an upgrade? I don't think so. Mike, what's your outlook on Billy Napier? Says Neil. I mean, he's not impressed me. Not at all, really. But they're recruiting well. But I mean, I don't think he's awful. You could do a lot worse. But the fit is just, I just can't imagine Florida fans being satisfied with a guy that just wants to play tough defense, run the ball, shorten the game. I mean, that's anti-Florida. I mean, Florida, They would never do this, I don't think. But what they need to do, they need to like throw all the money at Heupel or Lane Kiffin. I think someone that is a proven offensive commodity. Because what they're doing, I don't know. I mean, I just think it's stupid. I've said this so many times, and people get mad when I say it, but you can't try to be Georgia and Alabama with lesser talent. Even though they're recruiting really well right now, they're still going to be not have as much talent as Georgia and Alabama. Yet they want to run something similar. I mean, that's just asinine. I don't know how you can do it. You have to do something different. I really do think. What we got here? What else? Vols will beat Georgia this year, says Danny. Well, Danny likes to joke. That was a good one. Christopher Black, 14 points off turnovers. Damn, put the shit in context. I don't know which game he's talking about, but yeah, probably didn't put context there. Neutral site, what team is favored over Georgia, says Ashley. Texas. That's really the only one I've watched. I mean, in the SEC, hell, this is crazy. People think I'm damn crazy, but just watch Oklahoma. I mean, I realize the competition is not elite, but they remind me of Tennessee last year. They're throwing it all over the yard with a better defense. Their defense is legit, too. Now, we'll find out a lot about Oklahoma. I mean, it's kind of interesting what you're asking here, though. Neutral site, what team is favored? In my opinion, Texas and slightly Oklahoma. Now, the Vegas odds makers, they're going to favor Georgia every time because the odds makers, they're not trying to pick the winner. They're trying to pick where people will bet their money. And people, when they think of Georgia, they think of two-time national champion. This team right now is not a national champion. They're not the same team. So Vegas would favor Georgia, no doubt. But I would favor Texas, and slightly, by like one, I'd favor Oklahoma. We hear this every year with Kentucky, and every single year, y'all lose. Says Devin. That's not me saying, that's Devin. What else we got here? Ooh, no, I don't like that. Why people always want to kick people out of the SEC? That's what makes the SEC special. We ain't kicking nobody out. That's crazy talk. Can we just put this on replay right here with Kentucky? Kentucky's good. I don't know what you guys are thinking. I mean, did you not see what they did to Florida? Even though Florida's not that great, but I mean, they just dominated them. And I thought that was a coin toss game. And they absolutely dominated them. Damn, Sunbelt Billy getting drug in the mud. Liquid Flame says, Napier, great recruiter, but that offense he is trying to run is not working. Yep. Not only is the offense not working, but this is a guy who prides himself on, the details, attention to the awareness, everything's planned. It's meticulous, on and on and on. And then they keep putting 10 players on the field. They had on a crucial down, anybody that missed it, I don't know how you did at this point, they had 13 players on the field. And that was not, Kentucky doesn't run the crazy hurry up Josh Heupel. There was an injury, there was a timeout, I believe there was a commercial break, and then they come back out and they had 13 men on the field. Oh, yeah, and by the way, Kentucky still scored. I mean, it's laughable. This is a joke for a guy that is supposed to be this detail-oriented, and his special teams coordinator, I didn't realize this, is an analyst. Is not even a full-time coaching member. I mean, what the hell are we doing here? And why do you have 200 assistants, yet you're going to say, all right, I'm calling the plays, and I'm going to coach the quarterbacks. And, oh, yeah, where do we struggle the most? Quarterbacks, coaching them last year. And, oh, yeah, our offense is horrible. I'll just keep doing it, though. We got 200 people. They'll figure something else out. But they won't figure out how many players need to go on the field. They haven't figured that out yet. Doug, thank you for the double cousin curse. We got a great call lined up for the show when Shane shows up. It features the double cousin curse. That anytime we get a double cousin curse, if y'all don't go over to mybookie.ag and throw everything you got on the double cousin curse, just fade us. That's as sure thing as you're going to get. Not Lane Kiffin says, let's get squatchy. I'm telling you, Lane Kiffin, I don't think anybody in their right mind would take Napier over Lane Kiffin. Heupel, no shot. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. Someone like that. Doesn't have to be Heupel. Tennessee had their coming out last night, winning out, says Toady Culp. I don't know. I don't know about y'all, but if you watch that game, it felt like Tennessee was struggling to put that one away. They dominated, but I'm really just disappointed they didn't get that 48 that I promised. They got 41. That was close, but they should. South Carolina's not good, guys. And that's what I was telling you. Spencer Rattler's great. Defense is awful. Credit Tennessee's defense for being all over them and managing Leggett. His biggest play came on that fake punt. But if you just take away Leggett, they got nothing. Beside Rattler, they got nothing. South Carolina, not good this year. Down horns. That's a penalty, Scott. Scott's doing the down horns. In the comments, we don't tolerate that kind of behavior in the SEC. I'm just kidding. What? I'm throwing it up on the screen. This is Aaron's comments, not me. He says Georgia needs a quarterback that's not inbred. I don't believe Carson Beck is, but maybe Aaron knows more than I do. Brady, yeah, how about Brady Cook? We haven't had many Mizzou people in here. What's up with that? 5-0 on top of the world. And Brady Cook, we all wanted bench. We were done with him. He's lighting the world on fire. He's all SEC right now. He's doing a hell of a job. Do you think Georgia will be undefeated if the SEC let them play a game in Oklahoma? No. No, I do not. Because wasn't that in Norman? Tennessee or Georgia will not have won in Norman. I really don't think. Oklahoma's playing that well. How about this one from Trev? This would be wild. I believe Tennessee will beat Georgia, Kentucky, and Missouri, but will lose to possibly A&M and Bama. Spencer saying last night was Tennessee's Super Bowl. Does he not know he's a captain of a 2 or 3 team? Yeah, I didn't care for those comments. I do not care for those comments, but he can say whatever the hell he wants. It's up to him. Why are people so obsessed with Georgia losing? And his name is most annoying dog fan ever. You are far and away not the most annoying. I've met a pretty annoying ones, but I'm not sure anyone's obsessed with Georgia losing. Can't even remember the last time Georgia lost. Go Dogs. Jimbo Pat says we suck. Go Gators. Season's not over or anything. Let's look at Florida's schedule real quick here. I don't know if this is the updated one. Oh, no. I deleted it. Okay. Uploading right now. Let's jump up Florida's schedule. This is tricky. Vanderbilt. I will say this. I've said this before, and I've said it as a joke, but it's completely serious now. If Florida loses at home to Vanderbilt, I think you got to fire Billy. And I'm not saying it happens. Not saying it does. Hell, they should beat them by about 30 points. But if they lose back-to-back seasons to Vanderbilt look at the rest of their schedule. At South Carolina, Georgia in Jacksonville, of course, Arkansas at home, at LSU, at Missouri, Florida State at home. They're going to lose every one of those if they cannot beat Vanderbilt. There's not a game there that I think they can win. So, I mean, you might as well just pull the Band-Aid off if he loses that one. I truly do believe. But I don't think that's crazy talk. I don't think they lose to them. But that's how bad it would be if they lost to that one. How do you explain Davis' performance against Florida vaunted run defense? I mean, you'll have to find where I said they were vaunted. I didn't think it would be that. But Ray Davis, incredible. And credit that the offensive line for giving him time. I mean, that's been an issue. He's incredible. Do you think Graham Mertz will go back to his Amish community? Well, he's Amish? That's interesting. Graham Mertz, not the problem. It's the offense, lack of weapons. When Florida can't run the ball, I hate to repeat myself, but they can't run the ball. They got nothing. How many rushing yards they have? I'm looking it up right here. Florida had 69 rushing yards. Kentucky, 329. You can't put that on Graham Mertz. Tennessee ain't going anywhere with Sleepy Joe, says Aaron Burton. Starting to look that way. Ooh, but he also says Cats will expose crooked Kirby. Kirby's crooked now? I didn't know that. That's not me saying it. Has LSU ever allowed 700 yards of offense against? I think in Mike Leach's first game. Remember that? They went all up and down the field on them, and I think they set the all-time record that game. So they've looked this piss poor. Is Bo Pelini back? Is he an analyst down there? Bo says, I'll send you each a case of Shiner Bock beer if you double Cousin Curse Bama. We are totally for sale. So that's kind of enticing. We may have to do that. What do you think about Brian Kelly and LSU? Is BK the right fit, says Wolf Dude? I think so. But, I mean, that was awful. And this is now 2 years. I mean, he's only been down there season and a half, so maybe that's not fair, but I'm going to pull up their schedule. But remember that A&M last year, that was just so troubling. And that's kind of what Ole Miss reminded me of this weekend. I mean, Ole Miss looked awful against Bama. And then they come out and do that. Now, let's see. I mean, I think Brian Kelly's a really good coach. He's a little weird. But if they beat Missouri, I mean, I have no concerns. If they lose to Missouri, I might have some concerns. Now, I think they signed him to like a 10-year guaranteed. They basically gave him the Jimbo deal. So it's a little premature. Hell, he won the West last year. I mean, but I don't know. I don't know if he can win big down there. That's always was the thing they held against him at Notre Dame. I thought he kind of shook that last year. JB says, I took out a second mortgage on my home and threw it on the over versus Vandy. I, for one, definitely wanted Brady out of the kitchen. Brady cooking now, says Trevor. Absolutely. I mean, he's red hot, and he's going to be crucial to big win. Let's look up Missouri's schedule real quick here. I mean, LSU, this is the game we've all been circling if we're Missouri fans. But all of a sudden, who's the hotter team? It's no doubt. It's not the Tigers many would have thought. It's the Missouri Tigers at Kentucky. That's going to be a hell of a game. South Carolina at home. You always beat South Carolina at Georgia. God, look at this gauntlet coming up from Mizzou. Tennessee, Florida, at Arkansas. I mean, that back half was a lot more manageable, but maybe Cousin Shay wasn't so crazy when he said 10 wins for Mizzou. I'm starting to feel it. That'll be, if they lose on Saturday, I don't think they get 10, though. JB says they're coming back down to earth. Could be. Now LSU's got their back against the wall. Georgia going to beat the brakes off Kentucky, says Christopher Black. Maybe. Maybe. I ain't buying it, though. You can sell it, but I ain't buying it. I ain't doing it. Ray Davis, that dude? Yep. The big blue wall. As of today, it's been exactly 666 days. Maybe Georgia is the devil. I don't know if that's true. I just said it, but he wrote it, so it must be true. Yep. The Gamecocks will never be a Super Bowl for any SEC team. They will not be on the same level as Tennessee, says Big Papa. Daniels, Jefferson, Rattler. What's their combined record? It ain't pretty. Someone help me out here. KJ is 2-3, right? Rattler 2-3, so 4-6, and then whatever. Two multiple. God, it's ugly. That's terrible. Maybe you don't need a quarterback. I thought this game was all about quarterbacks. Trevor said if Mizzou goes 10-2, like Cousin Shane predicted, he's going to have a statue built in the middle of Cobo. I wish Cousin Shane was still on to see that. That'd be great. Mizzou beats LSU. Change my mind, says Ozark Hillbilly. Little reverse jinx there. I don't know. Joey Freshwater was all over Oxford last night. I bet he was. Well, I bet he was. Does your mustache have its own Twitter handle? Not yet. It's up to one of you to start it, though. That'd be pretty funny. I hadn't even thought about this. Shout out Thorin. How wild would a 6-0 Kentucky and a 6-0 Mizzou game in Lexington? I mean, come on. Game day? I mean, they'd have to beat Georgia. They have to beat LSU. I don't know. ESPN's head might explode. They would not be happy with that. Oh, baby. Chris says A&M 42, Bama 21. That's a little too rich for my blood. I could see them winning, but by 21? 14 sacks, 30 tackles for loss. The last two games for A&M. Just incredible. But A&M can't stop the run. Get the fuck out of here, piece of shit. Don't try that on a small town. Wait, who said they couldn't stop the run? Did I say that? I don't think I said that. I said they can't stop the pass. I've seen them play Miami. Mike, speaking of BK, what are your thoughts on UF saying no to BK and LSU's what? Florida definitely did not say no to Brian Kelly. They couldn't get Brian Kelly if they wanted, I don't think. That's not how that went down. Billy Napier wanted and was advocating for the LSU job because you got to remember Coach O got fired in the middle of the season. Napier was at Louisiana. He was go and check it out. He was on, I think it was Jordy Collada every week and talking about, basically advocating for the job every week. And they would talk all about it. Why aren't they looking at Napier? Why isn't Napier being considered? Napier's a hell of a coach. And he was never considered for LSU. And then when Florida, they played out the season, and then I think it was 6 days later, they had hired Napier. And the only reason it wasn't sooner, I think, because Napier, if I have this correctly in my mind, I drink a lot of beer, so I may have forgotten some of it. But Napier had a game in a conference championship or something, and they wanted to play that out, and then immediately after that, he was Florida's coach. So they had it worked out. Scott Strickland, it took him like a week to land on Napier. There was no Brian Kelly, and I don't know where you're getting that. SEC championship game between A&M, Missouri, Kentucky winner. Wouldn't that be something? Kentucky, never been to the SEC championship. Neither has A&M, I don't think. And neither has Ole Miss, which they're still alive now. They're alive now. Vanderbilt also never made it to the championship, but they ain't going to do it. Sorry. It's wild. So people think Mizzou going to kill LSU. And then these others think LSU going to kill Mizzou. Kind of reminds me of last week, Florida and Kentucky. Half of you were right. The other half of you, nowhere to be found. And where's that Jesse guy that was been talking shit about Tennessee for 6 months? South Carolina fan. So we got to go check on him. Where's old Jesse at? He said he'd be here. Big blue wall about to come crumbling down. That's a funny comment. Waiting for a Cousin Shane SEC Nation guest picker appearance. God, I'd love that. I don't think we can get him on there, though. He'd be too nervous. I think Mizzou can win, but LSU is going to come out fired up after that loss, says Scott. Hell, why isn't LSU already fired up? They've already lost. Now they're down in the West? I don't know. I don't believe that. I think you lose twice. Once should be enough to get you fired up, I would think. Going on the road to Columbia, Missouri, I don't think that's going to fire up LSU. I really don't. I think Mizzou's going to be, I know they're going to be fired up. SEC West winner will be between LSU and A&M winner. That's something I've kind of been predicting for a while now. When you making it down to Mizzou, I have a case of Bud Select with your name on it. That's not very enticing, I'll be honest with you. Auburn finally going to win this week. Yep, probably. That's against no one here. You should do show at 8 p.m. for Cousin Shane. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going. I mean, I don't know when he's going to be here, but I'll text him right now. This is great radio. Max Johnson not beating Saban. I don't care where it is or what the circumstances. Well, that's the thing about football. He's not playing Nick Saban, is he? He's playing his team there, but I don't know, Saban. I wonder if he said the same thing about Quinn Ewers. I don't know. I don't think that has much to do with it. What university will Bobby Petrino end up as a head coach if he keeps the A&M offense humming all season long? That's $1 million question. Florida, maybe? That'd be funny. If State goes 4-8, can we please look elsewhere? Yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. But again, probably a little too early to run off Zach Arnett. Let them adjust, but there's just a lack of playmakers, lack of Will Rogers. You know, he looked great against South Carolina. He looks lost again. Three picks. That was rough. Has Mizzou played a top 100 team this? Well, they beat number 15. They beat undefeated Memphis, which you probably don't respect, but they had a top 5 defense efficiency in the country. So, yes, they've beat multiple top 100 teams. I think every team they've played has been in the top 100. ESPN can't get their head out of Colorado's ass. That's true. I agree with that. What else we got here? Mizzou has the best non-conference win in the SEC, says Trevor. That's true. Middle Tennessee. Nope, not them. Kansas State. LSU has nothing to play for. I do not agree with that. They only have one SEC loss. And Ole Miss is going to lose again. They play at Georgia. That's almost a guaranteed loss. Not a guarantee, but all LSU's got to do is beat Bama, beat A&M, and they'll win the West. They could do that. Not saying they will, because that defense is awful. But Danny says LSU got fired up last year after their second loss. I think they got fired up because they beat Bama. Of course, then they got fired up for A&M. I mean, they're just so up and down. I don't know what the hell to make of them. What new coach should Mississippi State get next year? I'm going to say it. People are not going to like it. And I'm usually not a fan of do-overs, but how about Dan Mullen? I think Dan Mullen's a hell of a coach. He's better than half the coaches right now in the SEC. Cousin Shane's still recovering from the 10-miler after the Vols let him down. It was 13 miles, believe it or not. And I think he's finally over that. Chris says Max Johnson will be in a Heisman Trophy consideration after we roll Bama. We will have time this year to beat Bama. We ain't losing last second like last year. I would not get on board with that. Not Heisman. I mean, I think it's, I don't know. I mean, he'd have to catch real fire, I think, at this point in time. How long before Brad White, Liam Cohen are offered head coaching jobs? Well, I think Liam Cohen has already passed, if I'm not mistaken, on a head coaching job at a lower level. Brad White, I think that's a guy you got to be thinking too. I mean, this is the best coordinator duo in the SEC right now, Kentucky, and that's a big reason why they're getting it done. Not trying to be disrespectful to Mark Stoops, but he'll have, recruiting, hiring coaches. That's a big part of the job. So credit Mark Stoops for getting those guys and keeping them. Brad White, LSU tried to get him. Maybe they make a run at him again. But the fact that he turned him down, to Jeff's question, I think he probably won't leave until he's a head coach if he said no to LSU already. Bold prediction, says Rex. Arch Manning transferring to Florida to go play for Billy? Oh, I don't think so. Your boy Wilson says Mississippi State should hire Brian Harsin. Only if Chad Morris doesn't take the call, huh? Luther Burden, best receiver in the SEC. I agree with that. Okay. No update from Shane. I don't know if that's a good sign or not. Probably not. But, all right, wait. We went an hour plus. Part 1, we'll call this. This might have to be a weekly thing here. Part 1 with no one sitting there. Show's not as good, but I want to be here for you guys. So we say 6 o'clock. I mean 6 o'clock. So hopefully and we still got to dump Shane with the mayo. I don't know if that's happening. It's supposed to. But mayo bath for Shane. We'll definitely record that. May have to do that tomorrow. Shane's got to do his weekend update. So he's got a busy schedule here. So I don't know. I have not heard from Shane since when I first started this. I don't think he's left work yet. So I hate to even say 8 o'clock and it not be 8. Mike, why not Mayo him live? Well, the problem is I don't want to live in a living room. This is like where I live now, people. This is the living room area. I do those one-on-ones. I do it in the kitchen, and then there's a bedroom. I don't think people realize I've moved into this thing just for this show. Said, I've left family. I've left a girlfriend in Nashville to do this show. I ain't going to live in a mayo pit. So we're going to do it outside. So I think that's the only reason. I mean, this is a lot of mayo we're talking here, people. So I do not want to have to clean that up. That's the real answer. So we're going to mayo them out. We'll record it. I'll edit it up. We'll throw it on the show. So it will happen. I just don't know when, because it's going to be dark here soon. And I don't even know if he's going to be here. So I definitely don't want to do it in the dark. But hey, so stay tuned. Again, 8:30, hopefully. We'll try to keep you posted on Twitter and all that. But if I had a time, I'd give it to you. Shane's stuck at work. As soon as he's off, he'll be here, and we will recap the games for you. I mean, what a great weekend here. But that's all I got. I'm kind of out of. I don't know what else to say here. But we went an hour plus. I really appreciate everybody sticking it out here. 6 o'clock means 6 o'clock to me. So I wanted to give you guys something. We'll try to be back here around at 7 here as we're recording. 8:30 ballpark. Tune in there with Cousin Shane.